Let's show you how to do pivot tables. So first of all, what I've done is I've gone into the, I've just ignored that one, but in the Annaly Parks, I have moved all the names over into one place and I've just sorted it out a bit. I could sort it by the name of the park, for example. They don't all have names, so why don't we just sort it by object ID? I keep object ID because that's from, if I wanted to put it back into ArcGIS, I could use the object ID. What I'm now going to do into the attributes, now there's lots and lots of different ways of doing this, okay? But I'm going to do it a very simple way. And I'm going to get rid of park attributes that I'm not interested in, because I don't want to analyze things like I don't care about signs. You can do it by filtering, etc. So I've got that highlighted. Now what I have done is I've highlighted all the data and I've sorted it by item type. I am now going to get rid of things. So I highlight it, I go delete. Don't clear, otherwise I don't think bikeway, because there's bikeways all over the place, boardwalks, I don't know what a canopy is, we might leave it. Car park, etc. So I'm just going to do this and then I'll come back to you. So what I've done is pretty much deleted everything that I thought was not really something that people would be interested in. Because you don't go to a park to see the undersurfacing component, whatever that might be. I left taps though, because taps are useful. And I would then also delete probably workshops and stores, because I don't care about workshops and stores. It's not that something the reason, so I've left with these things, and if I filter it, I'll go into data filter. You'll see it's things like basketball facilities, slides, kindergarten, sand plays, and okay, and then I just save that. What I've done now is I've highlighted it. Now that I've got rid of all the items that I'm not interested in, I've highlighted it. Well, it was highlighted. I'm going to go into data. I'm going to go data from table range, which is that. Power Query Editor. May as well just keep the whole lot, but I'm going to get rid of blank rows, because it does have a habit of like copying rows to the bottom, which you don't really want. Now it's done all of that. I'm just going to close and load. I can get rid of a lot of the stuff there, but just load the whole lot. You'll see when it loads as something called, it's green and white. It can be blue and white as well, depending what you do. What we can do there, you can also remove duplicates this way, but I'm not going to do it there. I'm going to summarize it with a pivot table. I'm going to click on that, just do the standard whatever it says there, and it loads something called a pivot table. I'm going to close that because I don't want that open. And what we can do with a pivot table is you can then create a table and a chart. So let's say what we might do is put the park name in the rows. There's all the different parks there. Then we're going to put the item type in the columns. And what we can also do is you can drag the item type to the values and you can see how it's going to. So we don't want that, we want the values actually. Let's pop in there, item type there as well. So there it comes up with a table. You might want to make it a bit smaller. All the different stuff that is in each one of the things. By clicking on the pivot table, you get back to that, that one on the sides. So for example, bench seat. There's no bench seats in, you can do counts, you don't have to, you would probably do counts. So for each park name, it has then created a pivot table with the different things. You can then clear all of that. So let's just drag it all back. Just untick it or drag it all back. What you could also do, for example, is put the park name in the columns, and you could put the item type in the rows. And then the item type, you drag the item type down there. And that also tells you if you can, it automatically puts it in alphabetical order, and then you put the item type. So you can see there, you can summarize it and all sorts of things, and you can do a chart with it. So I suggest you use this in your assignment with your specific park, but do make sure that you just choose the area that you're looking at, because if you try and do it with all of them, it takes a long time, and loading 9 million rows, which is what happened to me earlier, is not a good idea.